Losing weight is simple as long as you choose the right path. Have you ever wondered why some people, it just seems so effortless for them to lose weight? It just seems like they don't even have to try. And then there's other people, maybe yourself, that you tried to lose the weight several times. You've even had some success, but you ended up falling off, or you ended up gaining the weight back, or it just didn't work at all. Why is that? Well, in this video, not only am I gonna explain why is that, I'm also gonna go over with you how you can stop that from happening in the future. And the first thing I want you kind of to think about is, remember the first time you ever drove a car. I remember my first time ever driving a car. It was so overwhelming. There was so much that I had to do. I had to press the gas, I had to press the brake, I had to look in the rearview mirror, I had to look at what was coming. There was just so many elements that I had to keep track of. It was overwhelming. And the reason it was overwhelming, it was because I was incompetent, right? Because if you think about what it's like for you to drive a car now, you do it with ease. You do it with zero effort. You don't even have to think about it. Well, what changed? Well, you became competent. Well, why did you become competent? You became competent because you practiced it. You became competent because over time you got better at it. It's not that driving a car became any easier. It's not that driving a car became simpler or less complex. There's still a gas, there's still a brake, still use a rearview mirror. The only thing that changed is you went from taking the path of most resistance to the path of least resistance, which that's exactly what we're going to cover here today on this video. So for illustration purposes, here's how most people's paths start. Okay, let's just assume this person wants to lose 30 pounds. Perfect. The fastest way, or the simple way, the path would look like this. So the finish line to losing 30 pounds looks exactly like this. However, this path is not the path that most people take. This is what most people's path look like. So they get started and they say, well, maybe I'm gonna do keto. So they get started on keto. Very quickly, they realize doing keto, they don't like it and they stop. So they revert back. And then they say, you know what, I'm gonna start going to the gym. So they do good and they start going to the gym. Everything's going well, but then something happens at work, which then throws them off. So now they hit a plateau, but then they get back on track. Here's the whole point of this thing. Instead of taking the path of least resistance, they're trying to figure things out, and they're trying to figure things out by doing the actions. And this is what we do often. We're looking for the thing. We're looking for the magic sauce, whether that's the diet, whether that's the fitness plan, and that's not how it works. This is actually how it works, and this is how you get long, sustainable results. When you're working on the thing, whether it's the diet, CrossFit, whatever the workout is, that is the action. And you think changing the action is what's going to give you the results. And in one instance, you're right. However, just changing your actions is not going to work because there's actually 4 steps that come before that. If you don't change those 4 steps, this one will never last, or it won't last long term. So, and here's the reason why. The steps before that is you have your belief, because your belief create your values, and then your values create your thoughts. Your thoughts then create your emotions, and your emotions are what dictate your actions, and then your actions are what dictate your results. So there's 4 steps before this that we really need to dive into and get a grasp on if we really want this to stick. Cool thing about this is emotions, that's something you can change immediately. So your emotions is how you feel about something. You can change the way you feel just by fixing your physiology. So for instance, just by sitting up straight, putting your shoulders back, smiling, you're automatically gonna feel better. So emotion is something that you can change automatically. And usually when you change your emotion, well, what does that do? Well, that impacts your thoughts. So those 2 things are kind of a quick fix that you can do immediately. Now the values and the beliefs, those are a little different. Fixing those take a little bit more work. Let's start with beliefs and then we'll knock out values. So your belief systems, your belief stuff you learned from, your beliefs and your values, you pick these up from where you grew up, who you were surrounded with, who raised you, your teachers, your parents, a pastor. That's where we get our belief systems and our values from. So how do you change your beliefs and values if these were hardwired into you at a very young age? Well, here's exactly how you change them. You have to take every thought captive. Anytime you have a thought, anytime you have a certain belief that comes up, you need to question, is that belief serving you? So for instance, some of you guys probably have the belief that you can't lose weight, or it's hard for you to lose weight, or going to the gym is no fun. These are all belief systems that you've bought into. Let me ask you this question. Does losing weight have to be hard? Is there some rule that says it has to be hard? Is there some binding contract that said, if you're going to lose weight, it has to be hard? Is it a law of nature? Is it a law of physics? The answer to that is a hard no. So that's a belief system that you've bought into. So you can continue to fight for your beliefs that losing weight is hard, or you can take the path of least resistance, or even borrow my belief, even if it's temporarily, that losing weight is simple. Again, here's how you do it. Your beliefs determine your values. Your values determine your thoughts. Your thoughts determine your emotions, and your actions are what determine your results. When you put all of these in alignment, losing weight becomes extremely easy. When any of these are off, doesn't matter which one, whether it's your beliefs, your values, your thoughts, they're not all in alignment, it's hard. It's resistance because you're going against your own self. Hopefully you got some value from the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.